Hey guys, my name is Dan and this is Stout Gaming. So this is part 2 of my 4-part guide on VGC drafting basics, and today we're just going to look at how to analyze a Pokemon and some useful tools for drafting. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So this first website I pulled up is basically going to be one of the most important things you use both pre-draft, during the draft, and throughout the season. It's Serebii.net Pokedex. Serebii.net's Pokedex. So on here, I've pulled up Galarian Articuno as an example Pokemon, and I'm gonna be going through how I break down a Pokemon and the different tools that Serebii has to look at it. So the first thing you'll notice is that you can see the abilities down here. So we're looking at the Galarian form, and you see competitive, which competitive is a very, very strong ability. So it definitely raises the Galarian Articuno in my estimation, and you can also see the Cantonian abilities on Serebii, so pretty useful information. Then what I like to do is scroll to the bottom of the page. We can look at the moves later, but I like knowing the stats. So we're going to be looking at the Galarian form stats, which are going to be down here. So you see that this Articuno hits a decent speed tier of 95, which is always the first stat that I look at, has a relatively powerful special attacking stat at 125, which when boosted by competitive is going to give it an absolutely massive special attack, and its bulk is okay, especially on the special side. 90 HP, 85 defense is decent, but not great physical bulk, but put on 100 special defense, and the special bulk is actually very, very strong on this Pokemon. So the next thing I look at when I'm going through a Pokemon is I'm going to check out all of its moves, not just its most common ones. You see that it gets Reflect as a level up move, so it could be used as a screen setter. Hypnosis has some uses here and there. Tailwind, a pretty important move. I do like having Tailwind control on a lot of different teams, so a Pokemon with access to Tailwind is always going to be very powerful, so that's a big plus. Recover Freezing Glare. Freezing Glare is a unique attack. It's basically just a strong psychic type attack that has the ability to freeze, so pretty strong. It does have access to Hurricane, which means it could work in rain, and it also has access to base power 140 max Airstreams as opposed to just 130. Trick Room. It is a Pokemon that has access to both Tailwind and Trick Room, and then we also saw Reflect earlier. So there are some definite potentials for support sets here, along with the common offensive sets. We're not looking at the Cantonian 1 level ups, and then the TMs and TRs. So it actually gets access to dual screens, which is quite nice. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at it. Scary Face and Icy Wind, or Scary Face is a form of speed control. Icy Wind is just the Cantonian one, you can see over here. Anything else of note? Imprison. So it has access to Tailwind, Trick Room, and Imprison. So you could actually shut down your opponent's speed control with it. Usually that works better with Trick Room than with Tailwind, but it is something to keep in mind. I do like that. U-Turn, pretty good. Trick Room, like we said earlier, and it also has access to Air Slash for more accurate special flying type attacks. Then if we look at the TRs, anything super of note here. Shadow Ball, decent coverage move. Calm Mind, it can have a setup set. Ally Switch, it can be annoying. So there's a lot here for it. It does get access to Expanding Force if you want to put it with a Psychic Terrain user. So overall, it's a pretty solid mon. It's got a lot of powerful attacks. It's got a pretty good type pool, but mostly what's important here is to see, like, this is the kind of tool that Serebii has, so you don't have to just guess what moves a Pokemon have, generally understand its stats, its abilities. It's all available here, and they've got the Pokedexes for every Pokemon, so this is a tool that I highly recommend making use of. Next tool we're going to look at is Pikalytics. Now, because this is draft and not just plain VGC, Pikalytics isn't going to be entirely useful, but it does show you common moves on a bunch of different Pokemon and then items that are often run with it. So while your EV spreads, I would not recommend just pulling a Pikalytics set, but we'll be getting into that in a sec. It does give you some ideas if you're looking for ideas for what your opponent can bring or what you could do. So the last thing we are going to look at here is the Picolytics damage calculator. I like the Picolytics calculator more than some of the other ones that are out there, but there are a couple different ones. Just find one that works for you, and this is going to be pretty important in prep. So for example, if you have Galarian Articuno and you are going up against a team that has Naganadel, you're probably going to be running Freezing Glare. So we'll put that in the move slot. And then you can see that KOs a base Naganadel. But what if your team's pretty slow? So the Naganadel only needs doesn't need to go max speed. It's got a lot of speed. So what if they run a bulky Naganadel, for example? Then Freezing Glare is less likely to KO. It gives you the % chance that it KOs. So you might need a Modest Nature, boost your special attack, and then again you are getting into the more likely to KO. You can increase your special attack until you get to the point where you guarantee KO. But what if they decide that they really want to beat the Galarian Articuno? Then maybe they run an incredibly specially bulky one that also has a plus special defense nature, and it's going to be like a support Naganadel. Then you're really struggling to get the KO with Freezing Glare. If that's the case, maybe you need to max out your special attack. You still don't quite get the KO because of how much special bulk this Naganadel does. So this is showing team building sort of on both sides. But you have access to items as well. And if you are able to run, let's say, a Life Orb, it shows you the Life Orb damage and you get the KO even on the most specially bulky Naganadel. But what if they decide to go with an Assault Vest? Well, then suddenly you're back to not getting the KO, but they are locked into certain moves. So this is the type of tool that I really like using. It helps me balance out what speed stats I want to pick, what EVs I need to make to survive and to kill certain things, and which items are going to be useful / which items I should build around. So the last tool we are going to take a look at is the Team Builder on Pokemon Showdown. So from here, it's just another way to visualize the Pokemon you have. So again, let's look at that Galarian Articuno. We add it to the team, and then we pick an item on it. We said that we probably wanted Life Orb on it. We get competitive as its only ability. And then let's pick some moves on it. We want Freezing Glare. We want Air Slash. We probably want Tailwind. So we're gonna say this is a fast mode. And then you can look through all of its moves here, and maybe your opponent has a really strong Dark type Ghost type that you want to hit. So maybe Shadow Ball's the move, or maybe you want to be able to set up Reflect because your opponent's team is very physical, and you think Reflect will help both the Articuno and Love team. So let's add Reflect. So then it will give you a guessed stat distribution based on what you have, but honestly I would go with whatever you pulled up in your calculator. But for here, let's say we wanted it maxed out so we have the best chance of picking up the KO. Maybe you don't need it quite as fast as other ones, so you can invest a little bit more in some bulk as well. And this is sort of how I go about building sets. And then I'd enter that into the calculator, see what it survives, see what it picks up the KO on, see how much extra bulk I'd need to invest to get it to survive other things, stuff like that. But thank you guys for watching this video. I know this was a shorter one, but we've got some longer ones coming, don't worry. But I will leave links to the different tools in the description below. This is going to be pretty important as you are prepping for draft to understand both the Pokemon, analyze it, make sure you are aware of its entire moveset, stat pool, ability, stuff like that, and then how to put it into calculators and other things like that to help you build. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for coming out, and I will see you next time. Bye.